Good morning, viewers. Welcome to live talk show with Dr. Pragya Srivastav. Pranam. Maternity matters emerged in view to provide high standards of clinical care for the pregnant woman, fetus, newborn child and mother so that none of them are deprived of tertiary care facility with patient-centric approach. Dr. Pragya Srivastav is a renowned obstetrician and gynecologist in Hyderabad, having 21 years of experience in the field of obstetrics and gynecology, who has established Pranam hospitals in Madinaguda and gained a loyal clientele over the past few years and frequently visited by several celebrities and other honorable clients and international patients as well. Her expertise is remarkable with high emphasis on treating simple to complex conditions of obstetrics and gynecology in a woman. Team of Maternity Matters has adequate experience and expertise to handle all high-risk gynecological and obstetric conditions and offer round-the-clock services to handle any critical care. The team is well supported by intensive care unit, anesthetists, pediatricians, neonatologists and physicians. As aware, today talk by Dr. Pragya Srivastav would emphasize on taking care of pregnant women during this pandemic situation. And you can post your queries for any clarification.
Good morning, viewers. Welcome to this talk show. I am Dr. Pragya Srivastav, consultant obstetrician and gynecologist at Pranam Hospital and Maternity Matters. Today I'll be talking on a very important subject in my specialty, that is pregnancy in COVID pandemic. I have divided my talk under certain headings to make it easier for viewers to understand. Pregnancy does not increase the risk of COVID infection. In other words, this means that pregnant women are as prone to getting infected with COVID as any other person in general population or a non-pregnant woman. But in case a pregnant woman gets COVID infection, she is likely to have more serious complications like prematurity, that is delivery of a baby less than 37 weeks of gestation. She may have stillbirths or a condition called preeclampsia. So it's very important that women who are pregnant and those who have been recently pregnant and everyone who is in close contact with them, they take adequate precautions to protect themselves from COVID infection. So what happens when a pregnant lady gets affected by COVID-19? When a pregnant lady gets affected with COVID-19, more than a third of them will not have any symptoms at all. They will be asymptomatic. Of the remaining two-thirds, more than 80% will have only mild symptoms like fever, cold, cough, sore throat. They may have loss of sense of smell and taste. They may have dizziness, body aches or myalgia. Some patients present with atypical symptoms like nausea, vomiting and diarrhea. Some 15% patients may have symptoms of fall in oxygen saturation, that is hypoxia. So these patients may have respiratory difficulty and they have to be immediately admitted to the hospital. Some only 5% patients become critically ill with COVID. They may land in respiratory failure. They may have multi-organ dysfunction. They may have shock, that is a fall in blood pressure. So these are the medical outcomes of COVID infection in pregnancy. What are the obstetric outcomes? So like I said before, most patients will have asymptomatic infection or mild symptoms. So these patients will not have any effect on the ongoing pregnancy. Only in severe and critical cases, when the mother develops respiratory difficulty, the patient may land in conditions of prematurity, stillbirth or preeclampsia. So premature delivery is a delivery happening before 37 weeks of gestation. It may happen because fetal hypoxemia sets in and labor gets triggered. Sometimes premature delivery could be planned because of, again, the same thing, an irregular heartbeat pattern. A poor heartbeat indicates that the patient should be delivered immediately. This baby may require admission to NICU. The other effects of fetal hypoxemia could be stillbirth of baby, a condition called preeclampsia in which there is a rise in blood pressure and protein leakage in urine. This is also seen in certain patients with complicated COVID. They may also have HELLP syndrome in which there is an elevation of liver enzymes and low platelets leading to bleeding tendencies in pregnancy. So these are the obstetric effects in a case of complicated COVID. So at what stage, which patients are more likely to get these complications? Patients who are 35 years or older, patients who are obese, or patients who have medical conditions like hypertension, diabetes, or bronchial asthma. These patients have been found to have more chances of developing a complicated COVID infection. At what stage of pregnancy are these complications more likely to happen? So most of the time we have seen that the first and second trimester is a relatively low risk period, but in the third trimester patients land in all complications. So it's all the more important that these patients are vaccinated before third trimester of pregnancy sets in. So management of pregnant women who are COVID positive. So many a times patient reports that she is pregnant and she is COVID positive, and on inquiry we come to know that she was tested only because she came in close contact with a COVID positive patient. So this patient is likely to remain asymptomatic or may develop mild symptoms during the course of illness, and these mild symptoms, as I said, would be like fever, cold, cough, sore throat, some kind of dizziness, body ache, and these patients can be managed at home under self-quarantine. And these patients have to be monitored for an onset of complicated COVID, that is for fall in oxygen saturation and hypoxia, signs of hypoxia setting in the form of respiratory difficulty. So these patients should be then immediately admitted to the hospital, probably under intensive care, and most of these patients do well. So what are the precautions that we take during the pandemic? So precautions for pregnant women during the pandemic. So now that we are aware that COVID-19 has definite serious implications in a certain set of small number of patients, but a significant number, so we should do everything to protect pregnant women and prevent them from getting infected. So what precautions do pregnant women take on their part to prevent infection? The first and foremost is vaccination. So vaccination is a very important part of my discussion today, so I'll discuss this in detail a little bit later. So other set of precautions hold good, like as the general public takes all precaution, in pregnant women it becomes even more important. So they have to maintain social distance more than 6 feet from others, avoid poorly ventilated, overcrowded areas. They have to wear a well-fitted mask covering their nose, mouth and chin properly. They have to clean their hands frequently with soap and water and maybe an alcohol-based hand rub. So these precautions are more important. Despite vaccination, these have to continue. Avoiding travel is also considered precautionary during pandemic times. So how do we take antenatal care? Antenatal care during pandemic. I have lost this slide. So we'll come to the effects on COVID later.
Seventh.
Is the slide there with you? Antenatal care?
Seventh slide.
No, mine is different. Okay, we'll come to that later. Antenatal care during pandemic. So we as obstetricians have certain measures in which we have taken certain measures to prevent COVID infection in our pregnant ladies. The first and foremost being screening at entry to the healthcare facility. So all patients with suggestive symptoms should be subjected to testing at entry point itself, and they should be segregated to prevent other patients from getting infection. The other things that we do is we space out their antenatal visits. We time their visits to the hospital in such a way that their important ultrasound scans are covered. For example, an NT scan which is done between 12 to 13 weeks and a TIFA scan say around 19 to 20 weeks. So these are important scans which should not be missed during pregnancy, and the patient's visit could be timed accordingly. There is also a certain low risk period during pregnancy. During this time, the patient could contact or could talk to her doctor on video consultation, and doctor could help guide her through this part of pregnancy. So these are certain ways in which patients' hospital visits could be avoided. We have also replaced certain tests which take longer to perform with certain other tests. Like for example, a glucose tolerance test requires 3 samples to be given over a period of 2 hours. So we ask the pregnant lady to consume glucose at home and come to the hospital and give a single sample, so that the need for prolonged stay in the hospital is not there. So these are certain measures which we have taken to prevent spread of COVID infection in pregnancy. But after having said all this, it's equally important for pregnant women and her attenders to realize that there are certain situations in pregnancy which require immediate attention and a visit to the hospital. And hospital spaces are considered clean spaces because regular sanitation practices are done under guidance from hospital infection control committees, and so hospital environment is relatively safe to visit, and the patient should not avoid visiting the hospital when certain situations demand. So what are the effects of COVID-19 on newborn if the pregnant lady turns positive? In other words, can COVID-19 be passed on from pregnant woman to her newborn? So fortunately, we have seen and now know that newborns born to COVID positive mothers do not have any signs and symptoms of the disease. And some studies have confirmed that amniotic fluid and breast milk does not contain the virus. So it's a very heartening finding. And all the babies who are born to COVID positive mothers are subjected to testing, and very rarely, if at all, if they turn positive, they don't show signs and symptoms of disease. So the newborn at the max could have issues related to prematurity in case a mother has had complicated COVID and the newborn was born early. So this baby may require admission to NICU. So effects of prematurity, and these are the additional effects but not direct effects of COVID. How about breastfeeding during COVID? What is the take on that? So separating the newborn from COVID-19 positive mothers is not practiced at all unless and until the mother is too ill to take care of the baby. So if the mother is doing well, she should be encouraged to breastfeed the baby, because we now know that the breast milk does not contain the virus. So at the max, baby could get infection from droplets. So mother has to take adequate precaution. She has to wear a proper mask and use all hand sanitization techniques, wash her hands frequently every time she handles the baby. But the newborn should be protected from visitors. That means we have the tendency of calling a lot of people at home after childbirth. So during pandemic, this should be avoided. Relatives, there should be a restricted movement of people around baby, so that anybody who is sick, asymptomatic, should not pass on the infection to these. So now we come to the all-important part of my talk today, that is vaccination of pregnant women with COVID vaccines. So it's now a well-known fact that certain number of COVID positive pregnant women can have very, very complicated COVID, and we need to do everything to protect them from getting infected. So experts are of the view that vaccination during pregnancy is more beneficial and it outweighs the risk with COVID infection. Ministry of Health and Family Welfare has advocated that all pregnant women in India should be vaccinated with COVID vaccines, provided they are given adequate information on the effects of COVID-19 infection during pregnancy and the risks and benefit of vaccination. So two types of vaccines are available in India, that is the inactivated virus vaccine Covaxin and the non-replicating viral vector vaccine, that is Covishield. Dosage of vaccines. So Covaxin is given as 2 doses 1 month apart and Covishield as 2 doses approximately 3 months apart. So there's no vaccine to choose from. Both the vaccines are doing equally well and giving us excellent results. Only thing is, if the patient, the timing of vaccination during pregnancy is important, because before the patient reaches 3rd trimester and has high risk of getting complicated COVID, she should finish both the doses. So in case she is nearer 3rd trimester and she falls in the high risk category of having hypertension, diabetes or is obese, so such patients should be offered Covaxin so that both the doses are completed sooner. What are the side effects of vaccination? So we have been giving vaccine over quite some time and we now know that most patients don't report any side effects. If at all they have side effects, they have in the form of pain at the injection site, a mild fever, a feeling of being unwell for 1 to 3 days, and these symptoms subside on their own. 1 in 1 to 5 lakh cases may have a severe manifestation in the form of they may have chest pain, pain in one of the limbs, they may have respiratory difficulty within 20 days of vaccination. So such patients should immediately report to the hospital. This is very rare and we have not encountered so far. So coming to the safety profile of vaccines, COVID vaccines are all non-live virus vaccines. So we have been given inactivated vaccines during pregnancy. We have been given influenza vaccine, Tdap, whooping cough vaccine during pregnancy, and these have been found to be totally safe. They have an excellent safety profile. So assuming that COVID vaccines are also non-live virus vaccines, these are likely to be definitely safe in pregnant women as well as for the newborn, although there are no long-term studies as of now to support this. But research has been done in over 40,000 pregnant women vaccinated so far in some 6 countries. Some studies have come forward stating that there have been no incidences of birth defects or prematurity or stillbirths in mothers given vaccination. So this is a very heartening finding. So some couples approach us as to whether they can plan pregnancy in the pandemic. So we encourage couples to go ahead and plan pregnancy if they feel this is the appropriate time for them to start a family. Yes, they should go ahead. There is no need to postpone planning for pregnancy until the pandemic is over. But we encourage them to take proper precautions, to get themselves vaccinated, so that and take all measures to prevent COVID infection. So I think I have covered most of the things that I wanted to cover during this talk. If any queries are there, I'll be most happy to answer them.
Ma'am, there is a query. Are pregnant women more prone to COVID-19 or at higher risk for complications of COVID-19?
As I've already covered in the talk, pregnant women are not susceptible to COVID-19. That means they're as susceptible as any other person in the general population. But yes, if they get infection with COVID-19, they can have more complications. So that way they are placed in the vulnerable category of patients.
There is a query from Priyanka. Does COVID-19 increase the risk for pregnancy complications?
Yes, so in a certain set of patients, not most patients will not have any complication at all, because most of the time COVID infection in pregnancy is also mild. But in a very small set of pregnant women, especially those who have some risk factors, yes, pregnancy can get complicated, premature delivery can happen, there can be stillbirth of the baby. So these complications are sometimes seen.
There is a query from Nikhila. Does coronavirus cross the placenta?
So it's a very good thing to know now that the studies have proven that amniotic fluid does not contain the virus. So in all likelihood, COVID virus does not cross the placenta, but in very rare one or two findings have come that COVID virus was isolated from placental tissue, but it's a very, very rare occurrence. So it's heartening to note that babies do not get infection with COVID-19.
There is one more query from Sirisha. How can prenatal care can be modified to decrease risk of contracting COVID-19?
Yes, prenatal care has been modified. I think several hospitals are practicing this. So screening of patients at entry to the healthcare facility is important, so that patients who have symptoms should be segregated and should be subjected to testing. In addition to this, we space out patients' visits. So every visit earlier, every 4 weeks, patient was asked to visit the hospital. But sometimes we can avoid some of these visits. For example, there's a low risk period in pregnancy where the patient should be encouraged to do a video consultation with her obstetrician, and so that she can answer all her queries or whatever she's anxious about. All those can be answered even on video consultation. And certain visits should not be avoided. For example, time her visit so that she can get her important anti-scan or TIFA scan done, because these scans should not be avoided, as these have serious implications later. If there's a problem which has been missed and detected much later in pregnancy, this situation should be avoided.
There is a query from Ajay. Are COVID vaccines safe for pregnant women and women planning pregnancy?
So there are no long-term studies to prove this, and studies will definitely come, they are being done. But as of now, we know that internationally vaccination had started quite some time earlier, and some studies have already come. I was just quoting a study in which 40,000 women who have received vaccine, they have been found to have no complications from vaccine. None of the babies had any birth defects, or none of the patients landed in stillbirths or premature delivery. So vaccine profile most likely is safe, but we have to wait and watch.
There is a query from
The bottom
Swati.
line is vaccines are considered safe and are strongly promoted. All women should be motivated, all pregnant women should be motivated and convinced to take the vaccine, because COVID-19 infection in pregnancy has been associated with severe risks in certain cases. So this should be prevented at all costs.
There is a query from Swati ma'am. Should mothers with COVID-19 be separated from their baby?
So there is no need to separate the baby. In fact, close contact is very, very important. But pregnant woman who is positive, the woman who has recently delivered, should take all precautions to prevent infection to the baby in the form of the usual precautions. So she should frequently use hand sanitization techniques, wash her hands properly before holding the child. She should use a good mask, because the baby is likely to get infection only through droplets. If the droplets contain virus, baby can get infected. So she should remember and use her mask and clean her hands every time she handles the baby. Breastfeeding is not likely to cause infection to the baby, because breast milk does not contain the virus.
There is a query from Pravalika. How long should mother-baby precautions at home continue after recent infection?
So the general time period is, so until the symptoms subside, basically if the mother is still having cough and or if she is running mild fever, so such patients should continue until the symptoms subside completely. All precautions should continue, but a general time period of say 14 to 21 days is enough.
Ma'am, there is a query from Ramya. Can breast milk transmit coronavirus?
So as I said already, breast milk does not contain the virus, so breastfeeding is promoted in a patient who is COVID positive.
There is a query from Pallavi. What precautions should mothers with confirmed or suspectable COVID-19 take when breastfeeding?
Yeah, so I have already answered, I think, in the previous query.
Okay.
Yeah.
The other query is from Srija. Are COVID vaccines safe for breastfeeding women?
Yes, they are safe for breastfeeding women. In fact, when given the vaccine, the mother is likely to produce antibodies, and these antibodies can be passed through the breast milk to the baby, so baby also gets some protection. So definitely breastfeeding mothers also should be vaccinated if they have already not been vaccinated during pregnancy.
I would like to thank you, madam, on behalf of viewers for an eye-opening session which was so informative and useful to the concerned. Thank you. If any queries or further information, please call us on 9966060000. Thank you all.
Thank you viewers.